Okay, guys, first we're going to start off with the light section and the hanger of our ornament, because this piece here is the same on every block that I release. So these are going to be the first two blocks that we're going to make. And so I have chosen some grunge for my lights because they give it a little bit of, dimension. And I do have little bundles of these on bellarosequilts.com, as well as this, as well as the green, as well as lots of Christmas bundles. So this is pretty much a scrappy quilt. So let's take a look at what we have here. I have all of our pieces cut out, and you get the pattern free every week on Thursdays at 4 p.m. during our live. So if you missed it, you can go back and catch up by paying $2 for each week's pattern, or you can be on the live and you get it free. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on our little light section. And for the light section, I'm going to need a D, a K, which is my light bulb, an F. I'm going to put this here so you can see what I'm doing. An F, right here, not too high up. I'm just getting used to using cameras. A G, which is the hanger, right here. And you're going to need I think I already did a yellow, so I'll do another yellow. This one is your K. I need another F here. Another F, K, and then a D. So that's how it all is laid out, and you're going to sew it all the way across. But first, we're going to take E's right here. They're little teeny little squares, and I am going to mark a line from corner to corner on the back with my friction pen right here. There's one. And I try to put, different ones, because this is, of course, is the tree. This is part of your tree, so all of these are green. There is a bundle of the greens as well. Oops, let me see. Let's see, I only need 4, but we're going to be making 2 of them today. I'm going to blue block 1 and block 2. This week, the first week, we released 2 blocks, 2 ornament blocks. I have about 10 different greens that I'm using in this quilt. I wanted a little variety, and so here we go. There they are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Acorn precision glue to glue these down to the corners of my lights. Okay, so I'm sitting here just putting a little bit of glue, and then I'm going to glue my little teeny little corners on. This just makes it easier for you to sew that line from corner to corner without it coming off, and then you're trying to hold it on with the pin and it moves. And I just find whenever I'm working with smaller pieces that I like to glue it on. So there's my first one, and my second one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to glue. I just put 2 little dots. You could probably put 1, but I put 2. And I'm going to glue this here. I'm going to glue this here. Here, and I think I want a little more variety, so I'm going to do this one. Draw my line corner to corner. Maybe I might want to get my line a little straighter. A little dab of glue since I got my hand in it. And let's just glue that on here. So there's my first 2 light bulbs. And so I'm going to sew those really quick like. And I'm going to sew here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here. So I sewed all these together, and I don't cut this off until I make sure that everything is lining up perfectly. I don't want to see a lot of the green on the back or too much of the blue on the front. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to iron these really quick. Like I iron them towards the corner. And you might just want to put a clapper on them so it'll flatten them because they are really teeny. And what the clapper does is it absorbs the heat and makes it lie nice and flat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to trim the back off. Same here. Make sure you don't cut off your green. See this one here, I was a little bit, well, no, I was a little off with my ironing, I guess. I need to go re-iron that one. And here's this one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to sew all of this together, this like this. What we have going on down here is we're going to put our C our C right here. And we're going to sew that on. I want a different C because these are all the same. I'm going to change this out. Oh, maybe I'll swap these two so they're not all the same. How's that? Okay, so I'm going to sew this to this to this and this to this to this. So I'm going to have two separate pieces, and I will be right back. What I've done now is I added the G and I moved the H down because it went with these two. And what I'm going to do now, after I sew these two units, I'm going to press them, and I'm going to press them towards this solid block because that's the way it wants to go. So I'm going to sew these together, and I'm going to sew these together. Both of these are sewn together. And one thing I know about me is that I sew a skinny 1/4 of an inch, which means I sew just inside of my seam, my 1/4 inch foot. So if it's here, some people sew right here, some people sew on the other side, but I sew here. So I've always done it. So it looks like it's just maybe 1/8 of an inch smaller, which is fine because I'm going to pin it and I'm going to make it fit. So I'll show you all of my little tricks and tips I have for doing this. And what I've done is I pressed the gray towards the green, and I pressed the green towards the green here. So they nest up against each other. And then I'm going to pin at each end. And I'm going to sew this together. So here's the piece all sewn together right here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the ball section, the ornament section right here. All we're really going to do is we're going to take 4 eyes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to sew them together. And I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so now I've sewn these all 4 together, and we're going to stick one of these on each corner. These are the bees, and I'm going to draw a line from corner to corner. You can glue these on, or you can pin these on. I typically glue mine on. Just for me, I don't like to deal with the pins, and it's really quick to do it with the glue. And here we go. One of my most favorite rulers, the 3.5 by 6.5. So I'm going to stick some glue here. I'm going to stick this on. I always stick a little pin back in here when I'm done to keep it from stopping up. You can also soak this in hot water and it'll open it back up. So I'm going to sew from corner to corner. I sewed those on and then I just pressed them back. And now I'm going to go and I'm going to cut these off. This one I was a little off on, you can see. So I'll just make sure that it doesn't make the shape off at all. And there's that one. So as you can see, we now need, upside down, the two sides here. And those are your A's. I have my A's here, like this. And I'm going to sew the A's here. Pin it on. Okay, let's go sew those on. So now I've sewn these together, and you can see it doesn't really matter which way you press your seams. Other than here, I would definitely press towards the green. And now I'm going to pin this to the top. I'm going to pin it here. I will place 2 more pins just to hold it nice and flat for me. And I'm going to sew that a 1/4 inch seam. And here's ornament number 1. Next, we'll move on to ornament number 2. Okay, so we made our first block. I have 2, right? So these are our first 2 blocks. And as you can see, the strips run vertical up and down, and the lights are on top of them. And then on the second block that you do in week 1, the strips run horizontal. Essentially, you're making the same block, it's just the way you turn it when you sew the top, your light top section on. I have cut the ball, and I wanted to see the bicycles, and I wanted to be able to see peace on earth. So I made sure that I cut them this way. So now I already showed you how to make the whole top piece, and I'm going to show you how to make this ornament right here, and you can just make all of your tops and attach them as you make your ornaments. So we're going to need a corner unit, which is piece B, which I'm going to grab B, and you're going to draw your line from corner to corner. Or you can use some diagonal seam tape, which I will link below. When you sew, you put it on just by click, click, sew. And let's see, I'm going to use this one here, and I will probably use, these are all of my corners. I've cut all my fabrics. I got a little bit more fancy on these. I picked some fabrics with some patterns, so my tree would have a little more sparkle than my first 2 blocks. You can see they're all pretty flat. They don't have a lot of color, where this one's a little bit wild. So maybe I'll just get to a little happy medium right here. I'm going to draw my line with my friction pen. Use this one. Put this here, and then I love this one. It's my favorite. So all of these bundles are available at bellarosequilts.com if you would like some of these fabrics. I think I made about 4 different bundles to make the quilt. Some people don't have a Christmas stash yet. And next I'm going to use my seam-align glue. I'm just going to corner to corner because I'm going to sew from here to here, here to here, and here to here. And I'm using the glue because I don't have to deal with the pins. If I were using bigger pieces, I would definitely use my pins. Okay, so I'm going to go sew these from corner tip to tip. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach one of these to the side of my block. I cut off the backs like that, and what will happen is this, it'll look like this. Okay, so I have my ornament sewn together. All of my patterns are going in the direction I want them to. I have this ready, which I already showed you how to make that piece, the top of the ornament. And then this is the Christmas lights with the hanger. So I'm just going to sew all three of those together and I will have my fourth block done. Okay, so we have our first 4 blocks of week 1 of the Christmas Delight Mystery Quilt Sew Along with Bella Rose Quilts. I hope you're having fun. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just hit the button below. Follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and join our Quilting with Sandy Facebook group, as well as joining us live on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Look forward to seeing you next week. Have fun.